Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jonathan Christopher, and today I'm going to share with you how do scriptwriters actually make stories for their films. Every single film has a story, and these stories are made by screenwriters or scriptwriters. But how do they actually make these stories to be able to be properly made into a film? There are 6 steps of making the story for every film. First of all is you need to make a logline. What is a logline? A logline is a sentence that describes your whole film in a nutshell. A logline is basically a character wants something but is having a hard time obtaining it. The formula for a logline is a character that wants a goal but is obstructed by an obstacle. So, character, goal, and obstacle. Now we have the basic formula for the film. Next is we make our character breakdown. We need to break down our characters into 6 different categories. First is the goal. What does the character want? And the motivation of the goal. Why do the characters want that? Next is the obstacle. The external factors that obstruct the characters from obtaining goal. The weakness, which is the internal factor of why the character is having a hard time to obtain a goal. The stake, what happens if the character fails to obtain the goal. And finally, the plan or action, which is how will the character actually resolve the problem to achieve the goal. Now we have the breakdown of our character. Now we need to know who is actually our character. We need to make a 3-dimensional character, which is the physical aspect, the psychological aspect, and the sociological aspect. The physical aspect, what does our character look like? I'm sorry, I don't mean to be racist, but well, actually we need to know what is the race of our character, and how tall are they, how much do they weigh, do they have any special characteristics or birthmarks, or maybe for fictional films, maybe like wings or tails or whatever creature they are, and so on. And next is the psychological aspect, which is how do they actually act? Do they have any past regrets? What are their ambitions? What are their personalities? And so on. And finally is the sociological aspect, or how do people actually look at these people? What are their occupation, their education, their political views, their reputation to the public, and so on. Now we have our character, but what about our story? Now we're going to the next step, which is plotting. There are lots of theories for plotting, but I'm just going to tell you the most simple plotting method, which is the 3-act structure. The first act is the orientation, or the introduction of our character and conflict. What is going on? Who is our character? When is this? Where is this? Why is this place? Like that. And next is the second act, which is the complication and climax. What is causing the conflict to raise? And how is our character struggling to solve the conflict? And finally, the third act is the resolution and closing. How will our character actually solve the problem, and what happens afterwards after the conflict has been resolved? Now we have our character and we have the structure of our story. Before we turn into the script, we need to make a synopsis. I'm not talking about the synopsis on the back of a DVD cover or a book, which tells the summary of the story to attract the audience to read or watch the film. But I'm talking about internal synopsis, which is actually a short story that describes the whole story as if you were telling it to someone else verbally, and they would understand the whole film with the short story that you have written, which is a synopsis. And finally, when you have that, you can finally jump into the script. What are the differences between a synopsis and a script? A synopsis only describes the story, but a script visually describes the whole story. It is divided into multiple scenes, and it visually describes the action of the characters, what is going on, the condition of where the characters are, and of course the dialogues. Alright, to summarize, these are the 6 steps of making a story for a film. The logline, the character breakdown, three-dimensional characters, the plotting, the synopsis, and finally which are all going to be used into the script. Remember that the script is the main guidance of the whole crew in shooting the film, so remember that details are important in scripts. In conclusion, there are three main factors you need to look out when making a story. Know every aspect of your character, know what obstacles they are going through, and know what are they going to do to achieve their goals. That is all from me. My name is Jonathan Christopher. Thank you very much for your attention. Please have a nice day.